Let me ask you something. When was the last time you said something out loud? Something small? Something that made you laugh a little and there was nobody there to hear it? If that question just landed somewhere in your chest, stay with me. Because what I'm about to talk about, most people won't say out loud. And I think it's long past time somebody did. Getting older on your own, not widowed, not freshly divorced, just the gradual way a house gets quieter. The way Sunday afternoons used to have a shape to them. Somebody in the next room, the smell of coffee going, a voice asking what you wanted for dinner. And then one day, it's just silent. And the afternoon has no edges anymore. It just spills over. 4 o'clock becomes 5, 5 becomes dark, and you realize you haven't spoken a single word out loud all day, simply because there's literally no one there. That's what I mean. I know that feeling. And I know a lot of you watching this know it too, maybe better than I do. Here's the strange part, the part nobody prepares you for. It isn't always grief. Grief, you expect. Grief has a name. What I'm talking about is more like you reach for the habit of someone. You hear something on the TV that's funny, and you turn to say so, and the room just absorbs it. The joke disappears. And you realize you weren't just sharing a moment, you were being witnessed. And now you aren't. We don't talk about that, the witnessing part. I have a neighbor, man about 78, sharp as anything, keeps his yard immaculate. We got to talking once, over the fence, the way you do. He told me he'd started narrating things to himself. Not because he'd lost his mind you, just to hear a voice confirm that things were happening. Eggs are done. Water's boiling. There you go. He laughed when he said it, but it sat with me for days. Because that's not strange. That's human. We were built to bump up against other people, to have someone say, "Yes, I see that. I'm here." When that goes away, something in us keeps reaching for it. That reaching doesn't stop just because there's nobody there. And I want to say something to the people who've been made to feel embarrassed about this. The ones who've been told they should be used to it by now, or that plenty of people have it worse. You're allowed to name what's hard. Surviving quietly doesn't mean it isn't heavy. I've seen two kinds of people grow old. I want to tell you about both of them. The first kind keeps a running tally. Everything that's been taken, every person who drifted, every year the phone rang less. They hold all of it right here, close to the chest, and it gets heavier and heavier until they're bent under the weight of what they lost. I understand that. Lord, I understand it. But those people, and I mean this with nothing but kindness, they're spending the time they have left mourning the time that's gone. The second kind surprises you. I met a woman once, 74, lived alone for 11 years after her husband passed. I expected something brittle. What I found was someone who had built an entire world out of small things. The cardinal that came to her feeder every morning at the same time. The way the light hit her kitchen floor in November. A neighbor's kid who waved at her through the window on the way to school. She'd taken what the world still offered, and she'd held on to it carefully, the way you'd carry water in your hands. She wasn't pretending the loneliness wasn't real. She'd just refused to let it be the only real thing. That's something worth sitting with. Because here's what I know, after all the years I've had to think about it. Loneliness has a way of narrowing your vision down to what isn't there. And the longer you stare at the empty chair, the more the rest of the room disappears. The people who find their footing, they don't stop seeing the chair. They just learn to see the whole room again, too. You are not a burden for needing connection. That is not weakness. That is the most human thing about you. So here's what I'm asking you to do right now. Just one thing. Scroll down to the comments and leave something. It doesn't have to be long. Just let me know you were here. Because I promise you, you will not be the only one. This community is full of people walking the same road, and half of them just need to know someone else is on it too. That's how we find each other. That's how this quiet little corner of the internet becomes something that actually matters. And if this reached you today, if it said something you needed to hear, please share it with someone who might need it too. And subscribe if you haven't. It's the best way to make sure we can keep having these conversations together.
Because that's exactly what this is, a conversation. And I'm glad you're in it.